A new program is working to help veterans communicate and connect by reading, discussing, and writing poetry about their service. It's called Verses for Vets. And to learn more, we welcome Rosemarie Dombrowski, the Poet Laureate of the City of Phoenix. Are you still the Poet Laureate of the City of Phoenix?
Unofficially, I am.
What does
yes.
that mean, unofficially?
It means I'm no longer paid.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
For keeping the job.
Poets are used to being unpaid, right?
Well, it's good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Verses for Vets. That's what we brought you in here. What are we talking about?
Well, I call it a poetic medicine program, which essentially means that there's a trauma-informed facilitator that is guiding veterans through the reading, discussion, and writing of their own poetry. What's unique about this program is that we always read poems by veterans, and those poems can span from the Civil War to Afghanistan. And the goal is obviously to get them to read those poems, see some connection in those poems to their own service, their own emotions, discuss that openly, and then hopefully that leads nicely into a writing exercise, which everyone has a few minutes to do in the session, and then we end with sharing.
Yes, so and basically introduce the idea, experience the idea, talk about the idea, and then why don't you go over there and try it out?
And then create, yes.
Yeah. Poetry in itself, the creative process here for poetry can be unusual in that sometimes it's structured, sometimes it's not. You have all sorts of different forms, or you have free verse, whatever. But sometimes the structure makes things pop out that you don't necessarily expect. Do you hear that from these guys and gals who are getting involved here?
Absolutely. I tell them not to worry about how it looks on the page. We just want to keep it short, which is why we only have about 10 or 15 minutes for writing. So that means they can write something that looks like a poem, or they can write something that looks like a paragraph. The point is, when we're working in this modality, they're creating metaphors, and they're essentially recasting their narrative. So instead of just sort of replaying the trauma loop, they're kind of looking at things through a new lens, maybe a metaphorical lens, maybe an imagistic lens. Hopefully some new emotions are coming to the fore. Hopefully there's some discovery happening so that they're not just reenacting trauma, but essentially moving through it within a community.
Are you getting that response from some of these folks?
I am. I'm getting a lot of people in the workshops who have never written poetry before and never really read it either. And so, you always worry when you're running a new poetry program that there's not going to be a lot of buy-in. There's going to be a lot of reticence in the beginning. And so we actually talk about some of the studies in my workshops as well. The studies that have been done with veterans that show that poetic medicine is actually more effective for some people than traditional therapies.
Well, and as much as maybe music or counseling or retreats? Really?
It can be, absolutely, because we're essentially telling them, here's a container in which you have full agency to tell the version of the story that is the story you need to tell now. How can we overwrite that trauma, perhaps? How can we sort of put good memories on top of bad memories? How can we commingle those two things in a new way?
How do you get past the idea of just being, it's poetry, I don't understand it, this is way too, artsy-fartsy for me. Can you get past all of that?
I think it's easy to get past that because every poem that I use in the workshops was penned by a veteran.
Yeah.
So those poems tend to resonate with everyone in the workshop. They usually have more to say about the poems than I do. They have more interesting interpretations of those poems than I do because they have a shared language coming in, right? It doesn't matter if it's a Civil War veteran, a World War II veteran, or a veteran of Afghanistan. They share a language of service and combat that the rest of us may not. So they always find connection.
And I would imagine the same poem, you will hear different responses and different viewpoints on the same bunch of words, huh?
Absolutely. And so that is why I'm not the only one who reads the poetry. I will read a poem once to them, and then I will ask someone in the audience to read the poem so that everybody can hear it in two different voices with two different inflections, two different paces. So I think they are always eager to respond in some way.
Now, did I read you were a military brat?
Yes, my dad was a Marine.
Yeah, so this is kind of close to home to you, isn't it?
It is close to home. I was brought in as a fellow into the Office of Veteran and Military Academic Engagement at ASU in 2022, and they asked me to create a poetry workshop for veterans. I created this, and then it became a whole workshop series.
Yeah.
So we offer a couple of these every semester.
And last question here, for people that are just into poetry in general, the difference between poetry about service and general poetry.
You know, poetry about service almost always tells a story. I liken it to war reportage. Sometimes I call it the more lyrical cousin of
Yes,
war
yes.
reportage. It can contain statistics, it can contain historical facts that are familiar to us. But then there's usually a layer of emotion that takes us deeper into the heart of the conflict than mere war reportage would. And so I find that the poetry is really accessible to everyone.
Rosemarie Dombrowski, again, this is Verses for Vets. Congratulations on this.
Thank you so much. We have our first workshop in September, so
All right.
check the website.
Okay, where's the website?
It's the Office of Veteran and Military Academic Engagement at ASU.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.